Why do I teach? Well, at a recent conference in Auckland, a guy called Kevin Honeycutt challenged us all, but it really resonated with me. Why do we teach? Record that, which is what I'm going to do now. This way I'm hoping that I can reflect on this in the future and actually see if I really do the things that I think I do, to see if I still teach for the same reasons that I do now. It's going to be an interesting experiment, and this is day one of it. Looking forward to where it goes. So why do I teach? Well, basically, I think I teach because I like to think that I'm good at explaining concepts. What will be very interesting to do is to get the students to video those aspects of my lessons when I am explaining concepts, to see if I really am as good as I think I am. See if this skill is one of my strengths, or is it something that I really need to work on. Another key reason that I love teaching is that I actually adore my subject. I love science. I love the critical thinking. I love the way it tries to explain things. I love the way that it looks at evidence and tries to come up with theories. And the way that science changes its mind if new evidence comes up. It's one of those subjects to me that creates empowerment. It gives you skills that you can use throughout your life, even if you're not going to be interested in science. And I suppose that leads me to the other major reason why I'm a teacher. I love learning, and I'd like to think that I can pass that love of learning on to my students. It might be in science, it might not be. To be honest, whether it's science or not doesn't bother me, so long as I've got students that take something out of my lesson that makes them curious, interested, and want to learn more, and want to learn for the rest of their lives. That's why I'm teaching. And ultimately, the self-value I get out of teaching, as politically correct as this is going to sound, I feel valued as a teacher because I actually care about my students. I care about how well they succeed. I care about them feeling some value for themselves, feeling like their contribution is important to my lessons. I care about them being able to find the best way for them to learn, for them to express themselves appropriately, I suppose needs to be added there. So, those are the key reasons why I teach. It does have some frustrations, some real frustrations, and these have become even more important recently. New Zealand has just brought in a set of national standards for primary schools, based around reading, writing and arithmetic. Now, I can see some value in measuring these standards, but at what cost? This creates an assessment focus rather than a learning focus, and it doesn't put any assessed value on the arts, music, science, PE, other things in which students can show such a high level of value. That worries me. And in the same vein, in the high school system we have got NCEA, we've got formal qualifications, and I feel that there's too much focus on assessment and not enough on learning. I know that I'm guilty of driving students towards the best grades they can get. That's the reward, that's the outcome. Whereas really the outcome and the reward should be the learning itself. And that's a big frustration for me. It's a bit of a disappointment for me, and that's something I want to see changing in my classroom. I would like to see that my classroom is more focused around the learning, and that the good grades and the assessment come as a result of the good quality learning in my classroom. That's what I'd really like to see change in my classroom, and that's where a lot of reflection is going to be needed. So as I say, this is day one of that, a bit of outlining why I teach and where I want to go with my teaching, and hopefully a chance to look at it again in the future. Hopefully the changes I make are going to add to my students' experience in my classroom and to their grades. I know that if the grades start slipping, then I'm going to find it hard to justify the changes I'm trying to make. So hopefully that's not what happens. So here we go. I'll reflect on this again throughout the next year, the coming years hopefully, and see how I'm going with this. Thanks for listening.